Alright, hello, welcome in, Stargazers, welcome in. How is everyone doing today? Hello. Welcome in, Johnny Virgil, welcome in, KLMX. Welcome in, MG, welcome in, Simon Zero, welcome in, Janu. Welcome in, Stockler, welcome in, Raoul, welcome in, Dark Turtle Knight, welcome in, Eritane, welcome in, Weston Fox. Welcome in, Arknight, welcome in, Vessa. Welcome in, Daho, and welcome in, Blood Sully. Hello. Welcome in. How is everybody today? Hello. Meow. Hello, Vessa. Hello, Yellow. You are sober. Okay. As opposed to... Hello. I am on time. That is shocking, honestly. I didn't think I would be. Pretty good. Finally got good news from the past days. I'm really glad to hear that, Eritane. I'm really glad to hear that. I know it's, I heard it's been, like, kind of rough, so I'm really glad to hear that you've had good news. Why meow so funny? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? But hello. Welcome in. Meowed and you laughed because you caps locked it at the end. Because it was so aggressive at the end, it was funny. Thanks for hoping for the best. Yeah, absolutely. Sending well wishes to you. Looks like you created imbalance, Arknights. Cats are indeed funny, yes. I don't know, I just, the way that you had, like, the, the caps lock at the end, it just got very aggressive at the end, it was funny to me. But yeah, today, I thought, you guys know that I'm, like, trying to get through things in an orderly fashion, so I thought that it would be a good day to work on some sketches from the meme event, right? I still owe Peltier, Quixie, and Arknight some sketches of their favorite ops, so I thought that this would be a good day to do it. I was going for an angry cat, I'm glad you picked up on it. I did, yes! Unless you lose your favorite mug to their urge, oh no. But yeah, I'm hoping that you guys are having a good day today. I feel like I had more to say, and I don't think I remember any of it now. I think I'm just sort of in limbo. I think I'm just trying to, like, churn out stuff. I don't think I have words. What rhymes with meme? Cats. Are we sure about that? Are we sure about that one? I guess what I can say is, Zangetsu helped a lot with, trying to help me figure out this super limited collab event, so I'm feeling a little bit better for Saturday, thankfully. Because I was getting really scared. So yeah, big thanks to him. Alright, anyway, we're gonna jump right in here. Let's see here. Go over to a blank canvas. Super blank canvas. I'm trying to sort of figure out sketching style and everything, and this was something I was going to do off stream, but I'm kind of thinking, like, okay, you know what, it's good practice, we should try to do it on stream, we should see how it goes, right? So I'm gonna dedicate, like, a little, section to each operator, more or less. Make that a little more even. There we go. That just sort of gives me a rough guideline of where I can work and where I cannot work. Make that a tiny bit more even too. About there, and then we'll save this. Sketches meme 2026. I don't know how to title this. Alright. Throw that in AK art, yes. And we can throw a time lapse on it, why not? I got plenty of exercise yesterday. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, goodness. Yeah, we did a lot of tests and experiments, but hey, I think it worked well. Challenge to star, do a 4-coma comic for the characters afterwards. What kind of 4-coma? I haven't done 4-coma in a long time. I need to set up like reference of like comic styles so that they're off Pinterest and actually doing something useful. Also, this goes for any art stream, but if you guys ever have like questions or want to know how I'm doing something or whatever, even if it's off topic, you are free to ask here. So the floor is open if you ever want to learn things. This is kind of like, I treat art streams as, yes, it would be nice to get work done, but ultimately I know I'm not going to get too much. And it's just an open time where I can sort of like, you know, chit chat with you guys and have fun. So I am open to whatever. It's not even counting the non-AK stuff you were researching and starting to set up. Yeah, true. Did you read about Stockler House in the server before stream? I did, yes. But I also just wanted to reiterate that for anyone, art streams are really casual. If you ever just want me to, like, move over and change the subject, I can do that. We don't have to be, like, super, super, super dedicated. You have a question? Yes! Feel free to ask any questions. In the meantime, I'm gonna start working on, gravel, I think. For, these are in the wrong order. For Peltier. Let's see here. I'm gonna see what I can do. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what a good style is for this. So, bear with me. Bear with me, because I'm still, like, generally trying to find my basic anime style still. I know it's been talked about a few times in Creative Cafe, but it's good to talk about how the face is structured. Yeah, absolutely. I don't really have any, like, good methodology for it, to be honest. I'm just sort of going with, like, what feels right, and then just sort of... I guess the main thing is I'm starting with a circle, adding your chin, adding your cheek, and then as long as you basically cut off part of the circle, you can very quickly get a good foundation. Quick question for you, Star. I was looking for a way to draw bread and stuff related. I looked at the resources on Discord, but I found one anime picture and guitars. I don't think I've... Did I say... I have a bunch of stuff on Pinterest. I don't know if I've saved, like, general foodstuffs yet. I have a bunch on Pinterest. I can add that there. Oh, that's the other thing, guys. If you ever want to tell me to, like, take 5 minutes and do some research and grab a tutorial on a subject matter, I know how to at least find good tutorials so you guys aren't, like, looking through bad clip art and AI. Like, if you want me to grab some really quick tutorials on a subject, just let me know and I can always do that. Not on stream, off stream. But off stream, yeah. I can always do that. So, like, if there's bread tutorial you need. But yeah, bread-related stuff. Are we looking for, like, drawing the bread or rendering the bread? I can give one of the operators bread. Is you're not an idol? Are you a comedian? I don't really think I'm a comedian. I like the style you've used during a Lucinari food stream. I can weirdly render bread. I don't know why I've been able to render bread well, but I'm good at rendering bread. Let me see if I have the, hang on a sec. Where's that Christmas asset I did? I have a weird ability for bread rendering. Don't ask where it comes from, because I don't know. Where's my panettone? I did panettone. There we go. That is way too low resolution. Let's try that again. Where's my panettone? There we go. Like that? Situational comedy is still comedic. I love panettone. Yeah, I'm good at food rendering. I think that the main thing when it comes to food rendering is really paying attention to adding extra light and shadow to give that illusion of, like, the air holes and everything. Because bread is a matte texture, you never want to add a white highlight. You always want to add, like, a very, very subtle, sheen, almost. Or very little. Like, you'll see that the only highlights I added on this bread were, like, very subtly on the tip here. Let me make that darker so you can actually see it. There's a tiny, tiny bit of highlight here. There's a little bit here, and then also using a painted brush to get, like, the bread folds. And I think I added a little bit of a gray tone here for that sort of, flower look. I'm trying to think what else. A lot of it is color variation, too. Like, you can see a lot of color variation here, where the folds and it's almost like a folded paper, I feel like is the best way to say it. But getting these indents and crevices first, and then sort of building from there, that is the best way I think you can do bread. So, indents and crevices, showing, like, all the folds, showing the in-between layers here, right? Only had bad panettone, too dry every time. No, I'm sorry. It's not supposed to be dry at all. I'm so sorry. It's not supposed to, no, it's not mid, are you kidding me? More Pandora, man, don't like candied fruit and dried fruit. Okay, that's fair, that's fine. Maybe a fun idea would be to collect art questions in the server and then go through them on a Monday sometime if you have nothing else planned, like every now and then. See, the thing is, I've tried doing that before, and then what always happens is that I say, hey guys, this is a stream where you're allowed to ask any questions you want. I'll get, like, one. It'll be, like, the first 5 minutes of stream, and then, oops, that was what I planned for stream. This happens every time. And then when I'm not doing something related to giving tutorial advice, that's when everyone wants to ask questions. This happens every single time. I've tried this at least 5 times. It's kind of like that joke, in artist alleys, where you won't make any sales at your booth until you start eating a sandwich for lunch. That's when you get this, that's when you get the people coming to your booth. Don't think I'm good enough to draw with this many details. So the best way to start, like, let's simplify this, right? If this ends up being a bread stream, it's fine. I promise I'm not gonna not do operator sketches for you guys. Like I said, these are just very open. So let's just do an outline on it, okay? Let me just trace my own artwork. Let's just very quickly develop its rough shape, okay? Because I'm gonna help you break it down. And I'm sure you don't necessarily want to do panettone, but once you do one bread, you can do any bread. A lot of bread is kind of structured the same way. You can give me any photo of bread and I would be able to replicate it. Because the main thing is you're going for the difference in texture of the dough, right? Okay. So let's reduce the opacity here so we can actually see what we're doing. Maybe make it a little bit more because okay, let me do it like this. I'll move this over here. We got our bread here. Okay. We got this rough outline here, right? We've got our indented inner bread and then our outer bread. That's why I said gather the questions up beforehand and then do the stream for it once you have enough. I've tried. I've tried. I could try again. You can collect a bunch of questions on Discord. If there's enough of them, you can make a stream. I used to have, like, a stream suggestions channel, but that was also before most of the community here, so maybe we'll try it again. The solution is simple. Lie to us about your plans. Why does eating a sandwich work? The idea is that the minute you're busy, you would get a sale. So it's like, you're sitting at your Artist Alley booth at a convention, no one's walking by, no sales, no one is interested, everyone's sort of looking you over, whatever. And then you think, okay, nothing's happening, so now I'm going to go and eat lunch finally. And you grab a sandwich. And then that's when people start showing up. And it's kind of a joke. If we talk about classic Pandora and panettone, my choice is Pandora, but if you put a chocolate chip panettone, then yes, I'll take that. Also very, very fair. Looks like a very tall muffin. That's fair. The stream suggestions would just become cheese. True. Abusing Murphy's Law for profit. I like it. Every time you start dinner and your email folder starts flooding. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's basically it. Alright. So, also, Stuckler, if you have a different form of bread that you would like me to analyze, then please send different bread. I'm just going off of what I've currently already made. But you see here where we can see the loaf formation? If I just made like a little indent here, right, where the loaf formation was, just drawing a few little squiggles and stuff like that. We're just adding a few lines. Anywhere there's an indent, air pockets, raisins, whatever it ends up being, right? There's a few folds here where the bread got a little squashed. Few folds here, few folds here. Okay, so this looks bad, right? This looks bad. This is gonna be interesting. We are going to, very quickly, grab our basic bread color, right? And we're just gonna color the whole thing in one go. It's okay if it's rough, this is just demo. We're just gonna do a little bit of that. And this works in traditional media too, but you have to have a traditional media that you might have to adjust sort of the way you do the traditional media. Alright. Chalkful, thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you, thank you. I'm sorry Prism's in the way here, but thank you very much. Hello, hello. We're drawing bread. I will go back to operators, I promise. I sent you bread, please respond. I've sent a couple images on Creative Cafe, if you can look at the last one real quick. Yeah, sure. Let me just finish what I'm talking about here, and then I will go back to that. So basically, right, we're gonna take our, weird squiggly lines here. And this is one problem I see a lot of artists making, and it's a reason that things might not work. Because I try to sometimes explain this, and, if I do this with, I see this a lot, right? You just grab a blur brush and people go over it like this. And then they think that this is sort of like what I'm trying to explain. This is not. This is not what I'm trying to explain. Actually, here, I'll do back and forth, right? This doesn't look good, but this is normally how I see people using the brush. Hey, just hello. Welcome in, welcome in. Alright, Prism. Thank you very much. Am I late for art class? No, you are not late at all. Hello. Welcome in. Low poly PS1 bread. Also, Media Ninja, hello, hello! Wait, I've seen your name as Chockful before. Wait, I'm confused now. Alright, let me see here. What was I gonna... What was... Okay. We're gonna lock this. And then we're going to make it a darker brown color instead of pure black. That'll help. We're gonna make this darker colored so that it blends a little nicer. And then here's the trick that we're gonna do. And you also have to keep in mind where the light is hitting and so on. But we can do this all in the same layer. We're going to grab this and make a selection around it. And we're going to do an airbrush effect around here. We'll do it for this crevice as well. So notice what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the color is only going to one side. And when you get better at using your brush, you don't really need to do it this way. I can just sort of paint it over. But you can just sort of go around here and get your basic colors around one edge. And I'm just using a basic airbrush. And then if I feel like I need more, I can always add more, right? Maybe I want one right here. And you get to the point where you don't really need to use this. But it's a good way to start off. And then, already it's looking a lot better, right? It's looking a lot more natural. This is why I don't really like using the blur brush directly. I would just sort of paint over it and then soften it with a blur. So then what I would do is I would probably take a soft brush and I would just very gradually sort of pat the color. Sort of like pat it down a little to soften it. And it's okay if you go over the line art. We can paint over the line art. Just sort of pat it so it has a little more texture. And then what I like to do sometimes is I like to take that in-between color and just sort of add little strokes around here. Especially when I know there's going to be shadow, for instance, like right here. Little shadows and things. Anywhere where it's dipping. And then one thing you can do, make this even darker, add some more crevices, like around here. Grab that mid-tone color, and you can just sort of gradually add little highlights. And it'll feel like crevices. You can make it really, really thin. It'll feel like bread crevices, right? You're picking up those highlights, you're adding those shadows. So we can already see the difference between the version on the left and the version on the right. Basically, you would just keep adding that detail. So over here, I see that there's like a little bit of a darker area. Maybe it needs its base tone a little more highlighted. Maybe there's a crevice here that I have to add a little more shadow to. And you're just sort of looking at your reference and adding crevices and highlights and sort of building it up. The reason I like using these soft brushes is you can blend it and make it look very natural. It's my Ethereum name. You remember me as Media Ninja, but on YouTube, my channel is chock full of randomness. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. You're doing your first D&D campaign. Ooh, that's cool. I have never done that. I've only done a one-shot. And it was really, really fun, and I would love to do more, but I've only ever done a one-shot. Alright. Let me see in Creative Cafe. You wanted me to look at the last photo? Because it's gonna work the same way. We're gonna do the same thing, okay? I want to make sure. You said last photo, right? Last one. Okay. Ooh, this one's fun. Okay. We're gonna put it up here. So, kind of makes sense what I was doing with the bread, right? Because whether it's panettone or... which type of bread is this? I'm gonna show you how it doesn't matter. I'm gonna show you how every bread will work for this. And I'm gonna keep this here so that you can see the difference. I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail and title of the stream later, aren't I? Alright. It's not bread, it's a masterpiece. I just want to be able to call this the right thing. What about here? It's puff pastry or something close to that. Okay, I didn't know if it was more specific, but that's fine. This will work. Wow, it's so much brighter on the hang on. Let me move it to another monitor on my end real quick, just because the way I'm looking at it, it's really dull, and it's really bright when you added it. There we go. Okay, puff pastry. It's gonna be the same thing. The main thing with bread is creating a convincing texture. When you get a convincing enough texture, the rest can fall flat. It doesn't even matter. Okay. If you have a convincing texture, and your bread looks like this, it will still work. I'm not kidding. Bread is all about texture. You create a convincing texture. Like I said, right? This is not well drawn. As long as you get a convincing texture, that is what matters. It's the same thing in 3D too. One of the most common things to work on in polymer clay is little miniature food, right? I'm sure you guys have seen that. Even if you don't do any clay work yourself, I'm sure you've seen little miniature clay food. Doing pastries and breads in clay is a very, very, very common subject matter because you can add little details, little textures, and make it look very realistic. So here's how I would do it. If I'm gonna look straight at the reference, I'm going to just pay attention to the silhouette. I'm gonna pay attention to the grooves. I'm gonna pay attention to the curves. And I'm just gonna get myself, like, a little base form, okay? So I'm looking over here. I'm looking at this dip that we have. And it doesn't have to be perfect. There's a little indent here. The rougher edge you make the bread, though, the more convincing it'll be. If you make your bread with, like, rough, unclean edges, it will look more natural. Because bread is not perfect. So a little bit of jitters, a little bit of jaggedness, it's all good. Usually on the corners, bread is going to cook to a crispier end here, so you're gonna end up with a little bit of these divots. It kind of looks like a pillow. Well, I mean, I guess that's right for most puff pastry, but still. You want something that just kind of resembles the shape, right? More or less. Kind of resembles the shape. Tostino pizza roll. And then, what we're gonna do, make a layer below it, we're gonna grab whatever its base color is. So, not the lightest part, not the darkest part, kind of an in-between here. It's kind of hard to tell with the highlights because I think there's probably a glazed brush here, but let's just say that's our base color. Bread's perfection lies in its imperfection. That is so true. Alright, we're gonna very quickly just go around here, add some base. It's okay if it's not perfect, we can clean it up. See, I went outside the lines a little. And just take a quick eraser here. I feel like I'm gonna be better at painting bread than I am with operators, so... Alright, we got our bread, we can lock that so that we can't really paint out of it. Locking the layer just means, you know, can't paint away. Oh look, now it's a toaster strudel. Alright. So, when we're looking at this reference image, it's a little hard to tell because there's so much going on with it, but I want you to try to break down the basic shapes. I want you to sort of blur your eyes. And we're gonna see that there is a big puff layer here. It's gonna go around the edges. Like I said, the edges are gonna be a little more cooked. And then there's a big puff layer here, and it's popped here. So we're gonna leave that open. We're just gonna very quickly try to figure out anywhere where there's a little bit of a darker color, even if it's like the shading or whatever, because there's still tomato on it, right? And then I'm just gonna kind of look over. I'm gonna say, okay, the less cooked part, the lighter part here, is gonna be about here, right? You can see that in the reference sheet. And if it's not entirely the right shape, I might go back and forth with the colors a little bit. There's a little bit of a lightness here, a little bit here. I'm gonna add some darker color here, just because that is sort of closer to our shadow. And I'm gonna add a little bit of a gap here, because that gap is... I have to unlock it here. This gap here that I had, where I made it dark and then light and then a little bit dark, that is our fold. That is our pastry fold. So as I'm going through each item, you can see that I'm just paying attention to where are the folds, where are the pastry, and I'll just sort of like gradually go around, maybe use a textured brush here, right? You guys know I love the Kuro ink brush for everything. Just sort of like soften it a little, gradate it a little, go around. Anytime where it's really dark, I can always go with an even darker pen here. And the texture, like I was saying, is really what makes it work, right? So you have to sort of just go back and forth with these colors, sort of blot it, dot it, make it rough, soften it. Don't use a solid color for this. It will make your life really hard. Don't use a solid pen. Use something with opacity, use something with texture. If you were doing this in colored pencil, it works the same way. Right? I'm gonna sort of fade this, make it feel like there's a little hole here. There's gonna be a little bit of darker color here, and then this is sort of reflecting the light. We're gonna keep adding little dots, little texture. Mainly what you want to do you see how if I press too hard, it just gets dot, 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 dot? We don't want that. I'll make this a little closer too. Does it help if it's a little closer? We don't want dot, 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 dot. We want it to look like grain. We want it to look very, very rough. We're just sort of going over and lightly tapping. And if it's too dark, if it's too light, you can go back, make it a little darker. We're looking for that grain texture. So we can just kind of dot around it, dot around it. We want, make it a little smaller if you need to. We need the texture. Don't do it too hard. This will not look good unless you want it to be like a pretzel. We want to go over it really softly, right? Really softly. Sort of just dotting around, going around. If it gets too thick, take the darker color and go over it again. Blend it. Blend it. Just have it like... And you don't want these all the same size. Change your brush size as you're working, right? Make some really large pieces. Make some really small pieces. Just create variation. You need to create variation. The main thing here is that you can't have it looking uniform. Make a lot of dark pieces, make a lot of light pieces. You have to have variation. Alright? I'm gonna take this color here because I can see the highlight. We're gonna add a little bit of a highlight here. And this is an art style. This sort of painterly style I like to do. This is an art style that looks really weird from far away, and then when you zoom out, it'll look a lot better. So I usually work zoomed out. I don't really zoom in too much when I'm working. Some people say it's better that way, some people say it's worse. I don't really know. I'm still experimenting myself. But as you can see, I'm just going around the whole thing. If I see that this part is lighter, I'm gonna change the color and make it a little lighter. Blend it in a little bit. Blending and tapping to get this bread-like consistency is the most important part. Did I see your previous comment? Sorry, I'm like getting into the bread zone. What was your previous comment? Sorry here. Point of view, Mia's s'mores Pop-Tart being created by the gods. Let me see where I'm going. Okay. I'm just gonna soften it. Basically, you basically just observe, right? Just keep observing. Just keep observing that this is going to be dark to medium to light. If this is going to be a little bit light because there's going to be a tomato here, we can make the whole thing a little lighter. We can fade it a little bit more. We can keep this a little dark. Know that there's going to be a tomato on here later. Just keep it in mind. Just keep it in mind there will be tomato that gets in the way. Okay, see how this is much more textured, and this is like, looks like one brush stroke? We have to break that up. We're gonna take the darker color, make it really small. We're just gonna break that up with a few lines, and then we're gonna blend in those lines so that it looks like layers of pastry. Few lines, blend in those lines. Get rid of the lines, make them thinner. We want it to look like blending. Because the layer flake is different from a cook top, we don't want it to be doing the same texture. We want a few pieces that are a little bit flatter, because this is a layer pastry. Might add a few highlight colors and then reduce them a little. And we're trying to get that flaky texture. We can practice here as well, make it a little darker, make it a little lighter. Keep going back and forth. Sometimes your brush is going to be too thick, so just go over it with extra paint. This is more of like an oil painting technique. And as you do this, you'll eventually get a sort of layered effect. I see that there's some large air bubbles here, so we can make a really dark side here, a light side here, create a little bit of air bubble, dark side here, light side here. If it's too dark, we can soften it. We can go over with a base color. And then, let's see, there's crevices here, especially in the corners, right? If this is too gray, we can add a little bit more saturation to it. A little darker so we can see it. And then for this whole area here, with this line, I'm actually going to take the airbrush and I'm just going to take our base color and I'm just going to sort of soften it so it feels rounded, right? Because these are rounded pastries. These are rounded edges. I'm gonna go a little bit darker. And then because this is looking really digital, I'm gonna go away from my airbrush. I'm gonna go back to these, and I'm just gonna sort of tap around the edges with both colors back and forth. Just sort of add more texture and grain so that it doesn't just look like we just airbrushed it over, right? We'll grab some of that lighter color again. I'm adding it anywhere that I can see it really apparently. So anywhere around the edges here. We'll go over here, where it's a little bit darker. Soften it if there's layers. Keep going around here. And then I think this is actually, we'll make this one step lighter for our really, really high highlights. Really, really high, like where there's a moisture, right? So like near the tomato, it's gonna pick up a lot of that specular reflective highlight. It's almost pure white. Not quite, but almost. And we're just adding anywhere where we really, really see the highlights. So don't do it too often, just you know, a few little places you can see it. Don't abuse it too much. We really want to focus on specific areas that we can see it. If you do it too much, it's not going to look like highlights, it's just going to look like a base color. And to soften it all up, I'll take an airbrush on this end and just sort of go over it really lightly. This needs to be a little bit of a lighter color. It looks too digital, so we go back. A lot of this is back and forth, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of this is just a lot of back and forth in texturing, because you can't really automate this too easily. You can use a texture brush, but you have to be careful how you do it. And then We'll do a little bit left here. Very subtle highlight. Make the little fold. And then we have this big, ugly piece in the middle. What do we do with that? We make a new layer on top. We grab red. And we just start painting in where the tomato should go. It's about here, right? Somewhere like that. It's around there. Doesn't have to be perfect. We can always finish it off later. Just get, like, your average idea of where the tomato is supposed to be. Make sure that there's shadow where the tomato is, like, creating shadow. But just, like, make some round shapes. We have a tomato there. We don't want to lose it. Yeah, we probably just went over the highlight. Just make it again. It's fine. This is why you don't want to be perfect, especially on a painterly style. Because you're just going to keep going over it again and again and again until it eventually turns out the way you want it to. We're going to go here. I'm going to pay attention to what is on the tomato and where the shadows are. We're just going to go with a dark brush. We're just going to make sure this is locked so we can't move our tomato. Alright, there's a layer here. There's a layer here. And there's a darker layer here where the bottom tomato is. I'm going to grab a hard brush, and I'm just going to cut this off so that this is going to have thickness later. Something I probably should have done earlier, but that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it looks tomato-like, it's fine. If your lines are too large, then just go over them again. If it doesn't match up, you can paint and use your eraser and sort of clean that up as you see fit. And then... Doctor, what are we doing? This is food lessons with Gummy or something. I don't really know what happened. Just bear with me. It's fine. We're adding our highlight color. It's gonna be a little bit warmer. It's gonna be a little bit more orange because we're picking up a lot of the highlights here. Yep, this is still locked. Just want to make sure it's still locked. Anywhere we see a highlight color, we're just gonna grab the highlight color. Anywhere we want to have the layers of the tomato, right? Sliced tomato. And I think... What am I seeing? The tomatoes sort of cut through with the basil, right? So we'll add some darker colors here. If this is still feeling too cool, you can always go and add a little bit more orange on the edge. It's kind of hard for me to tell what they did with the tomato. I think it's hollow, but it's hard for me to discern. So I'm gonna go off of the idea that it's probably hollow and just sort of add some darker pieces. Because there's gonna be a lot of shadow there. Tomatoes are somewhat translucent, so I'm going to take a really, really bright red, and I'm just going to sort of go over the edge in the middle. And if that's too much, I can, again, reduce it. We're going to soften the edge around here, so that it has the tomato slice. This is just a light peach color. And then we're gonna go again with those intense highlights that are almost white. Anywhere we can see these highlights from where the water is. From the water of the tomato, right? Doesn't have to be perfect, just throw on some highlights. If you need to, you can sort of soften it up too, but make sure that this is a different color. Your highlight should always be really, really, really bright. There's a little bit of tomato texture here, so you can add that with your brush if you want. And then, we'll add another layer on top, because I'm seeing a lot of leafy greenery. And because the light is hitting it, it kind of is taking a lighter color than I think we would normally see. It has a lot of specular reflection in it. So I'm just adding like a few green pieces at random, to be honest. I'm not really paying too much attention to where it is on the reference. I just want to fill the space around to what they did. This should be a little bit more yellow. So let's get a little bit of the gray away. This is like little salad garnish part, right? Just gonna add, I don't know, just throw it in. Throw it in as you see fit. It's just the garnish, so it doesn't have to be like super perfect. And then the main thing is you want to go really dark and start adding shadow. Pretty desaturated shadow. And you just want to make sure that you still leave a little bit on the top that is not in shadow. Because most of this is in shadow, and there's just a few pieces that are highlighted. Just a few little peek out pieces. The reason I didn't do this in shadow first is because I wanted to figure out what the highlight color was, since the highlight color is going to go over it very subtly, again, with a little bit of an airbrush, sort of over the whole thing. And then we're going to add a little bit of texture, since this is like a leaf texture. You can be more specific with the texture if you want. I'm doing this really fast, so... It's okay if you get other colors in there, because, you know, it's all sort of natural and blended in. It's not perfect. It's kind of falling into the tomato to begin with. So you can kind of break it up, paint over it, doesn't really matter. You're actually just going really for, like, energy here. You're going for a lot of energy. I'm taking some really light pieces, adding some dots. I don't know if you can hear it with the mic. My hand is jittering as I'm doing this, because I'm trying to do really, really tiny, fast texture. It's this sort of jittery motion that allows this leafy, specular reflection. Not really sure if you can hear it. But basically, like, my whole arm is shaking intentionally to create these very, very fast, rough textures. And then we're going to take our really dark color again. We're just going to go over it a little bit in between and the insides. And again, you can maybe hear it. I feel like this should have been a honey biscuit to really make it accurate, but that's fine. And then, last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that tomato highlight color, and I'm just going to go around the tomato edge again, because I think this is a lot. I think this is mainly where all that specular highlight is coming from, and if it's too strong, again, just go over it a few times. I don't know how I ended up doing the tomatoes as well, but you know what? This is the reference, so I'm going with the whole thing. And then if you zoom out, kind of looks almost photorealistic because of all the different shadows and highlights you kept putting into it. And that's kind of how I do my food assets. There you go. Does anyone have any questions? Sort of like how I go about doing it that way? A lot of it is just repeated texture. Figure out your highlights, figure out your shadows, and then keep adding strokes and strokes and strokes of texture. Bread is almost a subject you can cheat at, I feel. Why no ketchup? I don't know. I'm hungry. I feel like I can do food better than I can draw operators. So this is a good warm-up. This honestly just seems like black magic to me. I have no idea how you got it so accurate. I'm just enjoying the process. Well, I'm happy that you enjoy it either way. Can I have that as a PNG? I mean, if you want to. I used to offer, I used to make VTuber PNGs like this. That's what the Panettone was, by the way. It was, PNGs that VTubers could have. I did cheat on my bread exam in high school, got caught and handed a 0. Instructions unclear if I fonder has a bite mark. Using a mouse or a pen? I'm using a pen. Ketchup-less? I mean, you could make it into ketchup, it's just that I think that the tomato is fancier. Hi, so others want to eat me for taking up so much stream, which is supposed to go to the meme contest winners. It's okay. If we need to do another stream, it's okay. It's a-okay. Because the thing is, I didn't think that I was going to do all 3 of them today anyway. So if we can't get to all 3 of them, it's completely okay, and we can always do another. Frankly, I struggle to think of Monday and Thursday streams. I get anxiety with them, so do not feel, yeah. Like Vessa says, do not feel bad, please. Anything that I can do to help people, I'm more than open to it. It is all good. No one makes Stockler feel bad. This was fun. I haven't gotten to draw food in a while either. I really enjoy drawing food. The main thing that you just want to figure out, though, is your shadows and highlights. It looks photorealistic because you're adding enough texture and shadow and highlights to trick the eye. You read my previous message? The one before this one? Hang on. Low-key, could you upload parts of your stream like this, on the resources channel? I can if you'd like. Drawing bread is a very roundabout form of stress eating. I don't know if I would say that, but it is anxiety relieving. Yeah, if you want, I can take this segment and I can throw it up as a Discord thing, and if people want, I can throw it up on YouTube, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know what my YouTube channel is at this point, because yes, it is Arknights, but it was art, and it's also going to add a Lucinari. So I don't know what it is. Having cut parts of the streams where you show the art tutorial stuff is kind of big brain. I can always just take it, throw it up there, put it out as a clip. But yeah. I don't know if that would help anyone, but there you go. Let me throw these all into a folder. Wait, is this even the right oh, this isn't even our right canvas. Alright. Let me save this as, puff pastry. For me, it's not much of a difference, since I can find it now, but when I was scavenging internet looking for bread, I had a hard time finding resources. Maybe others can use that. Sure, yeah. I don't know if there's a YouTube tutorial on how to draw bread, but I am open to it. And avoid my fate. And just be like, VTuber Senpai, so how's the Arknights streams been going? I drew bread. I'm the first to draw that specific one. Great. You're a bread content creator now, do not resist. Oh my god. Oh, you know what I should do? Oh, this is crow thoughts, so Vessa's gonna slap me. Vessa's totally gonna slap me. But the crow thoughts are, art tutorial food, but Arknights. Because I'm just thinking, like, why didn't I make this, like, Kaobe's honey biscuits? Bake bread, then draw it. It's so silly, because then it's like, you're gonna have to invent half of these things. Literally the dungeon food collab, there you go. Can you collab with me? I actually don't really do, collabs much. I only did one collab with someone on Irium, and then, like, one interview with a cat VTuber, and that was kind of it, to be honest. It's not too bad of an idea, though, actually. I mean, it's like, you know, I can't, like, I can't cook, but I can render. So it's like, you know, making Kaobe's honey biscuits, except I don't have a recipe. Bread Knights and Bunnies. I mean, I did tell you that, you out here just chalk zoning a dinner. I mean, this is the thing, right? Kitsune has illusion magic. That is the illusion I can deliver. Alright. Let me jump to this canvas real quick. Gravel is still staring at me. Let's see where we can go from here. There we go. That's better. First collab should go to Vesa. I have no idea how that would turn out. Alright. I did have an idea for this. Let me make sure that I can execute it properly. Let me just figure out, like, where her eyes should be going here. She doesn't trust me to not frustrate / troll her on stream, I think. Are the part of bread making of my favorite bread creators ended? Nothing else for me to see. Bye-bye. Baking bread good so that it won't be breaking bad. Oh. You know, it's kind of funny, right? Because one of the original ideas I had for Stargazer merch at one point was, like, I really, really wanted to do some sort of, like, a cute collectible toy thing where it was, like, I think I told you guys this, that it was going to be called Lunar Bunny Bakery. Because I really love food art. I just think food art is really fun and really cute. That's why the, those, Arknights, like, dessert series things, it's just really cute. I think food is such a great way to, like, it's so universal, and you can make it so cute and fun. Let me see if how do I want to do this? I want her to just be a little bit, like... I mean, it's gravel, so she's gonna be a little bit flirty, right? See if I know how to figure out how to do this. He has pretty, thick eyelashes. What? Rainbow bread? What? Wait, what are you guys talking about now? I lost you entirely here. What? Let me see if I can do the pose. Where is it? How do people do this? It's gonna be hard for me to draw, I think. It's something like this, right? The little heart thing. I don't know. It seems fitting. Clean that up a little. Remember I said bread is cheating? It's so much easier to make bread because it doesn't have, like, anatomical structure that you have to worry about like you do with humanoids. I'm gonna regret trying to do this. What? Challenge you to draw a bread man? Do you mean a gingerbread? Alright, this isn't... It's not horrible. You can always clean it up. That's the other thing. I can always clean these up after stream, too, if I want to make it a little nicer. And then, let's see, how does her hair... Okay, her hair sort of goes down here. We are being very experimental today. And I want it to be experimental. You can see I can talk a lot more when I'm doing bread, too. I'm having a hard time focusing, on the prairie dog, trying to understand. I've drawn more food than I have people. But again, it's such a universal thing, you know? You can draw any food. There's actually a, there's a Japanese artist I really love, and he and his wife go, around the world, and he makes illustrations of all the different foods for all the different places he's visited, and it's so cool. I have some of his art books. It's very, very stylized. It's very, anime looking, and I really wanted to sort of, like, I'm very inspired by that style. Bread is a comfort food for drawing too, apparently. I approve. You know what's not a comfort food for drawing? Cake. Oh my gosh, cake is so difficult because of, like, the little, frosting details and everything. I am not good at painting cake. Every time you have to do the piping. Every time you have to draw the piping. So irritating. But it can make some really pretty illustration too, so. What about cheesecake? Cheesecake is fine. Cheesecake is fine. I love the look of super decorated cake, but I don't like drawing super decorated cake. Let me see here. Her eyes are so large. How do these not end up looking awkward in the official artwork? Make it like a little bit rounder. How much do you hate drawing hand? I'm not super against it like some artists are. I do think it adds a lot to include hand. Zyme Zero gifted me a great reference book on drawing hands, and that's been really useful. But even so, if I'm just doing it like this, just like out of my imagination or trying to look at my own hands, I don't hate it too much most of the time. There's some poses that are a lot to deal with, but it's not always, it's not too bad, I think. I think feet are one of the hardest things to draw because we hardly ever draw it. I remember one time I was showing off that I found references for how to draw feet, and someone in the Discord commented and they're like, "Star, why do you need those?" And I just wrote beach. I was doing a beach commission. Remember you saying that drawing hamburgers is time-consuming, or I remember wrong? Hamburgers are time-consuming because there's so many different layers. You drew the Vesta feet while she was being dropped in the ocean with the angry expression. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Because I needed to have you, like, kicking in the air as you're falling. I just thought it was funny because I remember someone being like, "Star, why do you need this reference?" I'm like, beach. Just beach. That's all I need to say. Beach. Yeah, I had this one commission where Vesta's falling in the water, a dragon is dropping her, and she's about to land on top of the VTuber Gargura. It was an interesting piece. Let's see where we're going here. The eyes are gonna need a lot of work, I think. But that's okay. We're learning from it. They're kind of they're slightly downturned, it seems. She actually has a very soft look to her. Gravel time? Yeah. No more puff pastries for the moment. Oh man, if you guys oh man, I have to be so careful that I don't go into crow thoughts with the food idea. I was about to say, like, wow, you guys should give me suggestions. I'm like, I've got to be really careful here because I'm trying to finish up projects, not add more. But you know what? If it's stream content, if all I'm doing is, if it's not evergreen, if all I'm doing is making stream content, grabbing a clip and throwing it up, that is very different than trying to plan out a bunch of stuff, right? If you're just like, hey, draw this, that's a lot easier. That's a lot easier for me to make an upload of. I don't have to stress as much for that. Well, she's got a little, ahoge too. I think her eyes are actually slightly upturned, but she has very heavy eyelids. Slightly upturned. The bottom part is upturned. Can't really tell how her... Maybe slightly. Is it, Sumire or Tamare? Really hard to tell. They're definitely heavy, though. like that, I think. They end up looking almost rectangular. Yeah, kind of. It is really heavy looking, for sure. It's cute though. I feel like you don't always appreciate an operator as much until you draw them. Like, I wouldn't have really given, Gravel's very useful in stages, for sure. But I wouldn't have, like, been as, what's the word? Wouldn't have been as appreciative, I guess? Without drawing an operator. That kind of goes for any operator, right? You spend time drawing them, and they warm up to you a lot more. That literally goes for every operator, I think. I think something that's funny is, like, like, you, for example, you was technically a spoiler to me, and I didn't know it at the time. Because I was just doing a study of a sketch that somebody else had done. And I was like, wow, this character looks really cool, and this sketch style looks really cool, and I want to try to do a study of it. I didn't know it was you at the time. And this was before you had come out for Global. So then, when you did come out, I don't think I made the connection at first, until a little bit later. And then I was like, oh, I really like this dragon. To make sure that this is on a separate layer, so that I don't accidentally go over the lines here. That's better. One reason I like Gravel is I think she has a pretty smile. A little more shy looking than you'd expect from the archetype. Yeah. Gravel's been warmed up to you from the start. She literally greeted you with a smooch the first time you pull her. Yeah, but I mean, like, okay, that's something that would normally be, like, a little concerning, right? So it's just like, hello? Are you okay? But no, I just mean, like, in general. I just feel that way with a lot of operators. Like, after I draw them, they just sort of, like, I don't know. I felt the same way with Hoshi and Haruka, right? Just drawing an operator just gives you a little different feeling, I guess. Make sure if that was, yeah, that was better. Slightly higher, too. What? I say restoring, but really it became a detailing session? I think... Thank you very much to whoever's just subscribed. Thank you, thank you. Wait, Raul, I think I think I missed your first part of the message? What? Raul, I don't have any other message from you, so I don't know what you're talking about. Gravel was the reason I learned prairie dogs kissed each other to greet. Not sure what to do with that fact. Fair enough. What? I said I've been messing around restoring a childhood toy. Oh, okay. How's that been going? Why can't I delete this? Go away. That's weird. Can't delete a Twitch message for a sec. Vesa, if you have a minute, can you jump on Twitch real quick and see if you're able to delete the spam message? It's not a big deal, it's just not deleting on my end. Or maybe, is it gone for you? See nothing? That's weird. Message guys auto purge when you ban someone. It is gone? That's strange. That's better. You don't see anything? Alright. That's weird. I deleted it, but then it doesn't disappear for me. That's kind of a not so helpful feature. Sorry, thank you though. You can still see it if you have chat add-ons. Is this considered a chat add-on? This is streamer bot, so I don't know. I don't know if streamer bot's considered a chat add-on. I know that for YouTube, we had to separate it, so that if spoilers got deleted, I wouldn't see them, but it looks like on the Twitch side, it also doesn't delete. I thought that was a YouTube problem. Maybe it's a streamer bot problem. I thought if I deleted it, it would at least not show up, though. That's really strange. Was it a typical hire me to do SEO for you type of spam? Yeah, it was just like, you know, want more people, click here, blah, blah, blah. So it's no big deal. But, good to know, though, that deleted messages are still visible on my end. On the Twitch side. That's really good to know. It doesn't show up for VIA users or people who don't want to show up for themselves, in short. Vanilla users. It doesn't show up for vanilla users, people who don't want to show up for themselves. Vesa, just as another really quick test, if you don't mind. Can you delete the message where Thupathebra just wrote, vanilla? Because I just want to test something. And just let me know once you have. No vanilla in this house. We are strawberry fans here. It's deleted? Okay. This is really good to know then. It's still showing on my end. So, this is good to know. StreamerBot does not help protect the streamer from seeing deleted messages. I knew that was a thing on YouTube because I knew that that was why we had separated the YouTube. But good to know it's also the case on Twitch. How come they can't make that function? Do YouTube comments get deleted on your side? It would now because I have the YouTube overlay showing. Or I should say the, yeah. On my side, I see comments that have been deleted if I'm using StreamerBot, but not if I'm using, not if I'm using the YouTube viewer. So for instance, that is why I am looking at 2 chats at once. However, it won't be deleted on the overlay, because the overlay is going through StreamerBot too. So, good to know. Kinda concerning, but good to know. It's kind of crazy that they haven't really made a good solution for that. You see, she kind of has like a little bit of shaggy hair in the back, right? I want to get better at hair shapes. I feel like my hair shapes could use work sometimes. Shape language for hair is, I think, the best way to say it. It's not always the cleanest, it doesn't always make the most sense. See here. Is her hair... It's long in the back, but is it, like, a ponytail, or... Can't really tell. It doesn't look... Let me see. It kind of looks like it's a ponytail. It looks very shaggy in the front and like a ponytail in the back. Because it's a little thinner. But I can't quite tell. Just gonna work with what I can. Doesn't look like a ponytail in the E2. No, it actually looks split in the E2. Okay. I think it's a super duper lone wolf cut kind of situation. That's what I thought. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think you're right. Yeah, okay. I need to work on hair shape language. I'm fine until it gets to lawn hair, and then I struggle a bit. Alright. Trying and failing to remember what her sprite looks like from the back. Let me try to make the hands a little more feminine looking, if I can, because they're looking a little... I can make it a little bit... It doesn't need to be small, it needs to be thinner, I think. And to make the lines thinner so it matches better. That's a little bit better. Yeah, I'm okay drawing hands, but it doesn't mean they're not still tricky. Doesn't mean they're not still pretty hard. I feel like they could always look better too, right? Just make that a little higher. Alright, she has the bracelet. Alright, this is really out of proportion. I'm gonna fix this. I think it needs to be pushed in a little bit more. I feel like I always end up making faces a little too wide. And then I sort of realize it after, and it always needs to be pushed in more. Because it's that 45-degree angle, you know? It can throw people off. Make your hair a little bit larger. That's so much better. Look at that. Look how much better that is. Sometimes it's really just a matter of, like, getting the proportion a little bit off. That's so much better! Oh my gosh. Infinite difference there. What is this thing? Metal? Metal piece. this a little, move this a little bit so it doesn't look like it's coming out of her shoulder. Move this a little, and then we're gonna move the wrist a little. There we go. Alright, this is actually not looking bad anymore. Confirming the chibi sprite, it's not a ponytail. Alright, thank you. Thank you very much for that, I appreciate it. It did kind of look like one. But thank you for confirming. And then her jacket kind of goes over like this. These lines aren't real. Proportions are always really hard to get right. This probably needs to go back a little bit more. Anatomy is still one of my biggest weaknesses. I'm still learning, but you know what? Through these projects, we're learning a lot. So. I think it's starting to look like her. We learn a lot by doing these. It's all good. Probably good that I did this on stream anyway, because otherwise I think I'd be futzing for hours trying to figure this out and get it right. But I'm enjoying working in this experimental, looser style. You want to see it posted in Arknights channel? Alright. Stuck here. Just add some extra texture. Let's see here. Oh wow, okay. Okay, it's definitely full then. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I think I still made her head a little too big. Let me actually I think the rest of it is okay because of how her hair is, but let me just make her face a little bit smaller because I think I made it too large. That's better. And it can be a little moved over though. Be like here. How's that? And I'll move her ears a little so that they match. Okay. Much better. Proportions kill me, man. I think that's what I hate more than hands, is proportions. I just don't have the eye for the proportions yet. Just to be able to get it all in one shot. Need to do more practice for proportions. Now it's looking a lot nicer. The poll is closed and the votes are 9-9. Only 50% of stargazers think you could capture Chupacabra. Oh, you guys are so silly. What about newbie's poll with Lillian's shoes? Okay, I'm actually getting a lot happier with this. I struggle a lot to draw people, so when I can draw people, it makes me really happy. When I feel like it's actually somewhat turning out decently, it makes me happy. Especially if I can get like this rough, sketchy style that I'm still trying to develop. Vessa, guess what? I did a piece I don't hate! Granted, it's a fairly simple pose, but still. Yay, we're growing. I definitely, am likely, no, definitely likely. I'm most likely not getting to all of them today, but this is good to just have a lot of practice in general. Regardless of the bread lesson, I still probably would not have gotten to all of them. But I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. Just need to make this one a little bit smaller. Some of this ended up being the opposite size that it should have been. Better. Stockler's a good lad. He deserves the bread lesson. Looks good. You got the ear shape right, and that's one of the most common gravel fan art fumbles. What do you mean? Wait, how do people normally fumble that? Wait, I'm dying to know how people normally do gravel's ear shape wrong. I mean, I got the size wrong a little bit. I have to fix that. But how do they get the ear shape wrong? They think she's a rat, maybe? This is why I keep saying that, like, ear shape is so critical when it comes to Kimono Mimi. S2 is confusingly named Rat Swarm. That is kind of confusing, yeah. Make the whole thing a little... This is why I had that whole lesson earlier about how ear size is so important. How ear shape is so important to determine species. And how so many VTubers have, like, the completely wrong ear shape for their species. The edge curvature? A lot of people draw them too triangular like a cat ear. Oh, I see. Yeah, if we're working with a rodent type, then it's gonna be rounded. Wait, are prairie dogs considered... What family are they in? I don't actually think I know. I agree, Starlight Cry, my favorite wolf VTuber. There's another wolf VTuber. I love her, she's great. But I used to get so frustrated when people would compare us. Because we both had, blue Canidae-looking designs. And this is back when I was still fully anthro. And people would mix us up all the time, or they thought that I was, like, the animal version of her. And she was a wolf, and I'm a fox. And because people just don't associate foxes with cool colors, I was always just seen as, like, a version of her. I love her, though. She's great. But that was something that always got me. Even today, I still sometimes accidentally get called by her name. Even today, years later. Years later. Alright, this has a receiver. I thought that was a line on the board for a sec, but no. Let me soften that up a little. Starless, they got it by train, please understand. Alright, and I'll just sort of fade it from the bottom here, I think. Do this really softly. And then... try to see if I can do this really soft. I'm not really good at doing the soft eye style yet. Trying. Let's see here. Probably needs to make it a little bit to the side here. I think this needs to be moved over a little. Trying to make sure I don't ruin it. It's really hard to do that evenly. Oh, that's why. Shoot. Okay. I'm trying to figure out why it doesn't look right. It's because the eyes are higher normally. Because it gets the downturned look better if the white part is higher. That looks a lot nicer, okay. And just move it a little down so that it's not so super thick. And then I'll just redo this area here. I was really worried I was gonna ruin the eyes. I'll just make her chin a little bit more accurate to her. She has a fairly small chin. And then I'm actually going to make that hand a little bit smaller too. Because now that I've changed the face, I think the hand is a little off. Just a little bit. Let's see here. Kind of hard to judge. Yeah, it's probably better. Alright, and then... is there anything else I need to do to it? Let's see how it fares if I do this. This is an experiment. It might not look good, but I just want to try. Alright. Just gonna add this in really roughly. Just want to see if it looks good or if it looks bad. If it looks bad, I can always get rid of it. It's just a test. Like I just said, if it looks bad, I can always get rid of it. I'm just trying to see something real quick. It's okay if it doesn't work, I'm just trying out, seeing how it looks. Right. And then if I did this. Made it really subtle. So it just felt a little bit more alive. I'm gonna make that into like more of a pink. Out here. Yeah. It's just something really quick that just sort of gives it a little bit of extra, like really quick, doesn't take long. Just sort of makes the piece feel a little bit more. Little quick tricks you can do, you know? And you saw, like, how rough it was, right? You saw how I, like, wasn't really paying attention if it was clean or not. It's just little quick tricks that you can do to just make the piece feel softer. Alright. I think that one actually... I think that one's actually one of my favorites now. I'm happy with that one. Let me just add real quick with her eye color too. There we go. Is she single? Oh my gosh. All right. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Thank you, Gravel, for letting me experiment and feeling a little bit better about my sketch style. Doesn't mean they're always gonna turn out that nice, but this one was good. This one was helpful. Oh, I realized I missed a little detail here. I guess she has like a barcode tattoo or something. Let me do that real quick here. There we go. And gravel looks beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate it. What do you mean I'm trying to figure it out? What happened? Which winner asked for gravel? Peltier. Didn't I say that? I'm so good. Alright, I'm trying to do one little quick look over, make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think I missed anything directly. And we got the barcode. I think we're good. Alright, let's see. We'll start half of one. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it, but we'll start half of one of them, okay? Oh, I probably should have... Alright, let me think. So let me just drag that color slightly so it feels like the hair's a little bit longer. There we go. Next one is Manticor, and I'm trying to think of how to pose her. Yeah, Peltier did the Calcit poster. Quixie did the Weedy one, and then Quixie requested Manticor, but I'm trying to think of what pose to have Manticor in. It's hard to not make all the poses look and feel the same, you know? Chilled for Weedy so much, picked Manticor? Well, Manticor wasn't an option for the selector ticket. So it was, you know, shill for whoever's on the selector ticket, and then I'll draw your favorite operator in general. And people were very good about using non-spoiler operators. I know some people had to go through a few different names in their head before they could decide on one. Or at least they told me. They had to go through a few different choices. So that it wasn't a spoiler op, so I appreciate that. Alright, let me think. How do I want to do Manticor? I don't... Alright, maybe like a... Let me try. You just kind of have to experiment and go along with it, right? See what happens. Cute, shy Tsundere Manticor doing the twiddle thumbs. I figured that was probably already done a million times. You can try. Okay, so make it 1,000,001. How would that look? To make her hairline here so that we can see that her head is turned down. Vessa, Are you aware she's a fellow twin tail? Yeah, Manticor cool. We'll probably get, like, part way through this one. And then for Blemmy, I'm gonna have to do, like, a really proud one, I guess. Radiant, anyways. Dazzling, we could say. Alright, thank you. Trying to get the pose right first, so, like, establishing the direction of where the face is more important right now. And then she has her cape. And then lawn sleeves that could come out of the cape here. Probably, like, partially covered, I would imagine. Like this? That's kind of the idea we're thinking, right? Alright, we're gonna have to figure out how to do her hair here. You know, I have to add the wings really fast, otherwise it's just gonna look like Vesta. Don't forget a transparent version? What do you mean? What do you mean a transparent version? Vesta Mage Acolyte in Free Ren World. She has the invisible trait. Transparent version is a thing in art programs, so I thought you meant you wanted one without a background. I'm like, that's not gonna work well. Oh, now it just looks like Matza Nova. Honestly, Manticor is a really great reference if I have to draw your twin tails. Like, honestly, next time I have to draw you for something, it'll be like, what would be the best reference? Free Ren? No, Manticor. Like, this is unironically a really good reference. And I find that kind of hilarious. It's like, wow, I wish I had known this a while ago. This would have helped a lot. Never seen Manticor and Vesta in the same room, come to think of it. Barely see Manticor in the room at all, to be honest. Clearly I'm not the only one here. Legitimately, I keep saying this, like, in the same sentence, but this is such a good Twin Tail reference. Twin Tails are so difficult to draw, and this makes it, like, oh, this clears it up so much. We need to make the head a little smaller. Make this part a little bigger. Good. My heads are always too large. My proportions of heads are not there yet. Actually, she's triplet tail. Manticor is a shy vessel unit that got transported to the AK world and dyed her hair to hide. Oh my gosh. There we go, guys. There's our next collab. Oh, wait a minute. Guys? Does Manticore's hoodie have bunny ears? If that's the case, do we tell Newbie? I think Manticore's cape. I'm gonna hang on. Guys? I think it has bunny ears. You think they're for the head wings? Maybe. But she was given the outfit, right? Posted Chibi in Starlight chat? They're covering for their wings. Where else would they go? I don't know. I don't know. I just know that Newbie likes to turn everything into bunnies, so I thought it was quite amusing. Looks bunny enough. Anything's bunny enough for Newbie, and if it's not, he'll recreate it. Honorary bunny. You know what this is basically like, guys? This is the same thing with Spectre. Right? This is the same as with Spectre. Because Spectre's an honorary bunny on the team too, right? Given that bunnies are a lot more common than Manticor, it's not implausible that she was given a hoodie made for a bunny. That's exactly what I'm saying, yeah! She's as timid as a bunny, the shoe fits. Because she was given the clothing, right? If I remember from her record, she was given existing clothing. So maybe they picked Goddess clothing to fit her ear, her wings. I have to hear what KLMX thinks about this later. We can treat it as an official turn of events. I want to know what Newbie would think. Be like, Newbie, we just realized that Manticor is basically Vesa with a bunny hoodie. What are your thoughts on that? And then we get the Kiryu sticker. Let me think. We got the big floofy white here. I don't know, the bunny ear shape is actually pretty large. Maybe they're not for her wings, but for her twin tails. They do be pretty large, though. There's a big pocket here, too. I'd like to think that the jacket was from... Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you, thank you. What was I saying? Oh. I'd like to think that the jacket was given to her, but then she put on, like, the accessories themselves. Because you've got, like, the little eye things here, right? And then, on the pocket, there's a little paw print. So the paw print is probably more akin to, like, Manticor, right? Like lion feet. Because bunnies don't have paw pads. And this looks like a very feline print. So I'd like to imagine she kind of, like, decorated it, or commissioned another operator to decorate it. It also does look a lot like Honeyberry's cape. Oh! That's an interesting... Maybe it was dyed. See here. The folds here on the jacket. And then there's the little eyeball detail here. Nail polish from Manticor as a present from Utage. That's pretty cool. I'd like to think that the jacket was given to her, but then she put on, like, the accessories themselves. So the jacket is probably more akin to, like, Manticor, right? Like lion feet. Because bunnies don't have paw pads. And this looks like a very feline print. So I'd like to imagine she kind of, like, decorated it, or commissioned another operator to decorate it.
Now, pause from Manticore as a present from
Let's see. Just has like a simple shirt here. And then a necklace. Does it look like the necklace kind of looks like the payday coins that Meowth the Pokemon has. I know it's probably something different, but that's the first thing I thought of. Alright. How do I add this in? This is difficult. This pose is always difficult. They're military dog tags. Oh, okay. They looked large for that. But that makes a lot more sense. It's always a really hard pose to do because the fingers have to meet up in a way that can be really awkwardly overlapping. And then do the thumb here. I have to do something like that. Is that right, or is that still a little... I should push this one back a little bit. It's layers of fingers, so it can be a little tricky. I'll be a little bit larger, and then I'll probably flip it, to be honest, just to make my life a little less crazy. So trying to align this right can be really difficult. Let's see how off. Let's see how much. Well, that's not bad. It's not bad. We can combine that. Move this one over. That's not bad. These are pretty low. Alright. One more here. Wait, are there multiple or just the... Oh, I guess there's 3 on each side. It looks like there's 3 on each side. It's a little hard to tell in the E1. Does the E2 show? Two, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay. Like the little guy in the bottom left corner with the head empty, no thoughts look. That is Prism. Prism normally is not completely no thoughts. But in that form, she definitely is. Also, welcome in. Hello, hello. Alright. What do you think, guys? Do you think the stream title is still accurate, or am I gonna have to change it? Why? Because of the bread posting? It is accurate. It's gonna be like skip for actual operator drawing. Yeah, we did like a half and half. It's all good. I had a lot of fun drawing that bread. It was a really, really good warm-up before we tackled working on gravel, and I think it's made our work better. Come to the AK stream, look inside, bread. You just add and bread at the end. Come for the Arknights, stay for the bread. Yeah, for Monday streams though, if you guys ever have like tutorial question art stuff, you guys want to do like a whole Monday of art education, we can always do that too. I'm open to that. If you ever want to do that. I'm in an esports center and the bread made me order a bowl of noodles. Thanks. Arknight, do you have any idea why that's so funny? Vessa, we've come full circle. Oh my gosh, we came full circle. Oh my gosh. Arknight, I'm sorry, I have to screenshot this and send it to Newbie. We came full circle. Oh my god. We did it. We did it, guys. We went full circle. This time the noodles won. Oh my gosh. Wild. I have to send that to Newbie later. Oh my gosh. So for those who are seeking context, I had a short where Vessa had before I was trying to pull this was for Pozomka? I think this was for Pozomka, right? Was it? The banner was Pozomka, I believe. And I want to say it was Pozomka and Jessica the Liberator was on a recent banner. And before I had pulled, Vessa goes, Jessica the Liberator, let's go. And then I ended up getting Jessica instead, and I was like, you know, jokingly yelling at Vessa. And then I made a short talking about how Vessa's words have a lot of power. And he's talked about, like, there's one time where, like, he went on this discussion about burgers, and then, like, 4 people that night went to get burgers instead of whatever they were supposed to have. And then Newbie ended up ordering a burger when he was in a ramen shop. And I just thought that that was the funniest thing. So I mentioned it on that short, and now it's come full circle, and now Arknight is ordering noodles. So now we've come full circle. The ramen shop got their order in the end. The universe balances the scales in strange ways. When you said Vesa, your words have power, I felt like I was getting scolded by my mom as a kid. Yeah, except a parent wouldn't mean it literally. A parent would be like, watch what you say, and here I am, I'm just like, Vesa, stop with your magic. You should probably have been more spread out, but too late now. Who'll make those lines so clean in one shot? I don't get that. I feel like this should have probably been moved down a little. Let me see how hard it would be just to move them down. I'm just a little off, but not too bad, right? Yeah, that's not hard to fix. I'll just do that real quick. There we go. You're getting better, Star. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that. I really think we won with gravel today. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, that's not bad. This isn't gonna be perfect, we're just trying to get the idea that there's words here. Fitting gravel vibe with this art? What do you mean fitting gravel vibe? Like what she's, like her pose? When it comes to a sketch, I'm not out to make the perfect looking letters. I'm just out to give the idea that letters exist. Something like that? Well, I appreciate it, thank you. S's are difficult. Even just roughing out one. Good enough. Ah. Alright. Probably would be easier if I just zoomed in. That's fine. It gets us the idea. That's all we need. Let's move this way further down. Make the face a little bit better. And keep it consistent, not easy. Do a forward nose here. Both blushing, but for very different reasons. Two characters with very large eyes in proportion to their faces. It's good practice, though. Also, Keisha, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Old blushing in the face of Dr. Starlight. Oh my gosh. Oh, they're so precious. I'm telling you, you just gain like so much more. I don't know what the word is, but like whenever I draw an operator, my admiration of them just goes up a lot more very, very quickly. There's something about drawing them that just kind of like I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it. It just like makes you feel more emotionally invested, I guess is the right way to say it. Manticor blushing because she just found out how firsthand how Gravel says hello. Aww. Does that mean Gravel and Manticor E2? I don't think I have Manticor. Pretty sure I don't. I think I would have remembered. I don't think so. I think visually I would have remembered that. No, because if I had Manticor, then Manticor would have been in Stream Nights. So I don't believe we have Manticor. Yeah, Manticor is a Stream Nights candidate. I mean, we tried for Typhon too, but you know, can't get it all. Yeah, I didn't think so. I think KLMX would have known. I just didn't want it to be another Luna Cub situation, that's all. No, I was pretty sure that I didn't, because I think she's a Stream Nights candidate. But I was nervous for another Luna Cub problem. Make sure it doesn't look too off. I think it might be a little too high. Like is a little off. Let me fix that. It's probably not gonna be as high either. Probably like here, I think. That's better. Ratio looks better. Just realized the other pieces here were not drawn in either. Having wings for ears on the head is extremely rare as well, now that I think about it. Bat wings are rare. Feathered wings are not. Feathered wings actually I'd say is pretty common. Bat wings, no. I rarely ever see bat wings. Trying to think if there's any other... I'll make that a little lower. And again, same with the white in the eyes here. The white pupils. Do that very gently. She almost looks like a little ball-jointed doll. Alright. I think the twin tails are gonna take a little bit of work. I'm probably gonna have to do the twin tails next time, as well as Blumshine. But yeah, I knew I wouldn't finish them all today. Still, I'm actually pretty impressed with the amount of progress we did make. I'm not gonna lie. Move a little bit here. Even ending was so long ago, I participated before I left. Yeah, I know. It was a while ago, but but I still want to make sure that I keep my promise here, right? Hey, the awards are all being handmade, so I won't lie. I was a little worried. I was like a little nervous about wanting to make these look good. Even though they're sketches, I've been wanting to work on developing my sketch style. So I'm really glad that I get to do that. And get a chance to do it here. Yeah, it was a mix of busyness and just kind of being a little, you know, a little nervous, a little paranoid. I'm building my confidence with this, you know? Bread gave you energy, true. Bread did give me energy. Bread gave me confidence. Bread gave me energy and confidence. But yeah, I want to, you know, keep doing sketch stuff like this, because it really, really, really helps, honestly. This type of stuff that, you know, we, as artists, should be doing every day, but it's hard to do every day. So when I can do, like, really genuinely basic character sketch, it's good to try to keep that up. So I'm glad to have the opportunity to do so here. like I said, I think that the twin tails are going to take some work, some time here. But the pulled back hair is still tricky for me too. But honestly, I think we made a lot of good progress today here. Very, very different expressions. Save here. Very different expressions, but I think it works. Alright. I think we'll call it there today. I think we got a lot of really nice stuff done. I'm happy with our progress. Which op is the third you have to get done? Blemishine is the third one. And that one is from Arknights, so that one is going to be in quick color. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for stopping by and hanging out and allowing me to draw your favorite operators. I really, really appreciate it. Our next stream is gonna be Saturday, and we're gonna see how to deal with Morpheus. I'm feeling a lot better about it thanks to White Zangetsu, though, so I think we've got this. I think we've got this. Alright. If you have not yet subscribed on YouTube or followed on Twitch, definitely consider doing so. Definitely consider joining our Discord if you haven't yet. There is an artsy side to the Discord, there is an Arknights side to the Discord. We'd be happy to have you on either or both all at once, regardless. And I am wishing you all the best, wherever you may be in the world and the many, many worlds beyond. Have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, and night. Thank you so much, Stargazers, and all the best.